16,470 guest reviews, every major European river cruise line, over 100 individual ships. And when you rank them purely on what real passengers actually reported, not glossy brochures, not press trips, not sponsored content, the results are genuinely shocking. One of the most expensive luxury brands in river cruising, 10th place. A budget operator nobody talks about, top 3. And the #1 cruise line across all of Europe, most people have never even heard the name.
We analysed multiple independent cruise forum websites and cruise line platforms and built a ranking of all 16 qualifying European river cruise lines.
And each line doesn't just get a single number, we ranked every qualifying ship in every fleet. There are some enormous gaps between the best ship and the worst ship within the same cruise line, and if you book without checking, you could pay the same price for a completely different experience. We're counting down all 16 lines from worst to best. Stick around. Some of these placements are going to start arguments in the comments. Before we get into the rankings, you need to understand how we built this, because the methodology is what separates this from every other top 10 river cruise lines video on YouTube.
All review data comes from cruise line platforms or independent cruise forums, where we collected every review for every European river cruise ship we could find.
No filtering, no sponsored inclusions. If a ship had at least 5 reviews, it qualified. Ships with fewer than 5 reviews were excluded because 4 very happy guests or 4 very angry guests can completely distort a score. 16 cruise lines met the threshold. The final score for each line is a weighted average. That means a cruise line with 75 ships and 10,000 reviews carries more statistical weight than a line with 2 ships and 19 reviews. We're transparent about sample size throughout because you deserve to know when a score is built on a mountain of evidence and when it's an early signal. Total reviews analysed, 16,470. In the description, you'll find a link to the full spreadsheet. Every cruise line, every qualifying ship, all the scores. If you're actively booking a river cruise, that spreadsheet might be the most useful 5 minutes you spend before putting down a deposit. All right, let's count it down. At the very bottom, Saga, a UK-based line catering primarily to over 50 British travellers. 2 ships qualified, the Spirit of the Danube and Spirit of the Rhine. 17 reviews in total, our smallest dataset. A 3.28 weighted average places Saga clearly at the back of the pack. And within their tiny fleet, the gap is already visible. Their Danube ship scores meaningfully higher than their Rhine ship. When only 2 ships show that kind of spread across 17 reviews, the consistency isn't there. If Saga is on your radar, the data says look higher up this list. Just above Saga, A. Rosa, a German operator that markets a casual contemporary floating resort concept rather than traditional river cruising. 6 ships qualified, 45 reviews, a more meaningful picture. But here's where the fleet level data gets specific. Their best rated ship, the Stella, scores 3.74 out of 5. Their worst, the Brava, 2.64. That's a full point gap. A. Rosa doesn't just score low on average. The experience varies dramatically depending on which ship you board. The spreadsheet in the description shows all 6 ships ranked. Amadeus, an Austrian line focused on the Danube and Rhine, comes in at 14th, a 3.66 weighted average. 6 ships, 47 reviews. That's a noticeable jump from A. Rosa below them, almost a third of a point. But Amadeus has one of the most extreme fleet gaps in our entire ranking. Their Cara scores 4.73, a number that would compete near the very top of this entire list. Their Royal scores 3.07, barely above our bottom ranked line. A 1.66 point spread within the same cruise line. Same brand, same booking process, radically different experience. The takeaway here isn't avoid Amadeus, it's check which Amadeus ship you're actually booking. Riviera Travel, UK-based, mid-market pricing, popular with British travellers. 7 ships, 54 reviews, weighted average of 3.67. Now, 3 ships in their fleet were excluded entirely because they didn't reach the 5 review threshold, so the Riviera data is incomplete. But what we do have reveals another alarming range. The Thomas Hardy scores a very solid 4.31. Their Lord Byron, 2.77. That kind of spread within one fleet is not normal. If you're booking Riviera Travel, do not assume all ships deliver the same product. Check the individual ship tab. It's all in the spreadsheet. Croisière Europe is the largest French river cruise operator and one of the most affordable ways to get on a European river. 16 ships qualified, 108 reviews, one of the bigger data sets outside the top 8 lines. Weighted average of 3.73, and what you'll notice a pattern, the fleet variation is significant. The Raymond scores 4.54 out of 5, a genuinely excellent guest experience. The Beethoven scores 3.03, a point and a half lower, same cruise line, same company, completely different product. Croisière Europe offers genuinely compelling value at the budget end of the market. But the data tells you that picking the right ship within their enormous fleet is at least as important as picking the cruise line itself. Now we reach a genuinely controversial placement. Number 11, Talk. Talk is widely regarded as one of the most premium, all-inclusive river cruise experiences you can book. The pricing reflects that. Talk is not competing on value, they're competing at the top of the market. 8 ships, 91 reviews, and a 3.82 weighted average. That places them 11th out of 16. Let me show you something revealing. The MS Joy, Talk's highest rated ship, scores 4.71. An outstanding result that genuinely justifies the premium price tag. The MS Treasures, same cruise line, same pricing, scores 3.33, nearly a point and a half lower. Talk can deliver an exceptional river cruise. The MS Joy proves that, but they don't deliver it consistently across their fleet. If you're paying Talk prices, you need to know you're getting the joy, not the treasures. Check the ship before you book. And here we go, number 10. This is the one that's going to generate the most discussion, UniWorld. UniWorld positions itself as perhaps the single most luxurious river cruise line in the world. Boutique ships, museum-quality interior design, butler service. Their marketing sets the expectation bar higher than almost anyone else in the industry. Their pricing matches. 11 ships qualified in our ranking, 463 reviews, one of the most statistically robust data sets in the lower half of our table. Weighted average 3.99, 10th place. And within their fleet, their top ship, the SS Antoinette, scores 4.30 solid, but their bottom ship, the SS São Gabriel sailing in Portugal, scores 2.66. That's one of the lowest individual ship scores in our entire data set of over 100 vessels, a luxury line with a sub 3.0 ship in its fleet. UniWorld delivers a beautifully designed physical product. The interiors are genuinely stunning.
But based on 463 member reviews, the guest experience isn't consistently matching the luxury pricing.
Number 9. And we cross the 4.0 threshold. Grand Circle is a US-based non-profit travel organisation catering to experienced, typically older travellers. 5 ships, 40 reviews, weighted average 4.10, smaller sample, the usual caveats apply. But their best ship, the River Aria, scores a very impressive 4.69. A line worth knowing about if you're in their target demographic. Number 8 is Scenic, Australian-owned, luxury-positioned, heavily marketed. 1,555 reviews, weighted average 4.12, 8th place. With that many data points, a 4.12 is not noise. It is an accurate picture of the Scenic guest experience across 12 ships. For a line that markets at the luxury end, placing 8th in a 16-line ranking from over 1,500 reviews is a clear signal that the product isn't fully delivering what the marketing promises. Number 7, Emerald Cruises. And here's where the story gets genuinely interesting. Emerald is the sister brand to Scenic. Same parent company, different positioning. Emerald targets the value premium segment while Scenic pitches at the top of the market. 8 ships, 1,280 reviews, weighted average 4.24. Emerald scores higher than their more expensive parent brand. And within their fleet, Emerald is remarkably consistent. Their Destiny scores 4.40, their Sky 4.10, a tight 0.30 range. When you book Emerald, you're getting a more predictable experience at a lower price point than their luxury sister Scenic. The data says, save your money, take Emerald. Number 6, Viva Cruises, a newer German operator. 2 ships, 19 reviews, smallest data set in the top half. Keep that in context. The Enjoy scores 4.50, the 2 scores 3.91. A 4.28 weighted average is a strong early signal, but Viva needs more reviews before we can speak with the same confidence we have for lines further up. A name to watch. Number 5, Amma Waterways. one of the most respected names in river cruising, and the data broadly backs that reputation. 22 ships qualified, the second largest fleet in our study, 1,072 reviews, weighted average 4.34. Now, within those 22 ships, there is meaningful variation. The Ama Serena sets the standard,
4.58.
with dining scoring 4.8 and service at 4.9. That is elite level performance. The Amaduro, their Portugal-based ship, scores 3.55, a full point lower. The Amaviola also stands out, cabin score of 4.8 out of 5, public spaces at 4.8. If you're booking Ama Waterways, the Serena and Viola are the ships that justify the premium. Number 4. And this is where the scale of the data becomes staggering. Viking River Cruises, the most recognised name in the industry, the biggest marketing budget, and the largest fleet by an enormous margin. 75 ships qualified, 10,283 reviews. Viking alone represents 62% of every review in our dataset. That is not a weakness, that is Viking's statistical strength. Their weighted average of 4.34 is built on a mountain of evidence, making it the most data-backed score in this entire ranking. And here's what genuinely impresses me about Viking: the fleet consistency. Across 75 ships, the spread is barely over 1 point. Their top ship, the Viking Manny, scores 4.59. Even their lowest rated ship, the Viking Freya, scores 3.56. For a fleet this large, that kind of tight range is genuinely remarkable. You know what you're getting with Viking. And overwhelmingly, what you're getting is between very good and excellent. Number 3, Gate 1 Travel. Gate 1 is a value-oriented operator. Their pricing per night is significantly lower than Viking, significantly lower than Scenic, dramatically lower than Uniworld or TOC, and yet 4.41 weighted average. Third place, 4 ships, 34 reviews. We are transparent about the sample size. We'd like more data before treating this as definitive. But what those 34 guests reported is striking. The Monarch Governess scores 4.79, one of the highest individual ship scores in our entire dataset of over 100 vessels. And even Gate 1's lowest rated ship, the Monarch Countess at 424, would rank above half the cruise lines in this study. Gate 1 raises an uncomfortable question for the premium lines. Are you paying for a better experience, or are you paying for a brand name and a marketing department? On this dataset, Gate 1 guests report higher satisfaction than Scenic guests, Uniworld guests, and Talk guests, despite paying thousands less. Number 2, and this one comes with very high statistical confidence. Avalon Waterways, 15 ships, 1,341 reviews, weighted average 4.42. Avalon doesn't have Viking's name recognition, they don't have Uniworld's luxury marketing budget. What they have is consistency of delivering an excellent experience. Their fleet range is exceptionally tight. The imagery too leads at
4.51.
and no ship in their fleet falls below the low 4s. That kind of consistency across a 15-ship fleet is rare. It tells you Avalon has systems in place that ensure you get the product they promised, regardless of which itinerary you choose.
And the number 1 European river cruise line, ranked purely on member review scores, is Riverside Luxury Cruises.
Full transparency. Riverside is ranked first, 3 ships, 21 reviews, smallest qualifying data set in our ranking. Riverside operates ultra-premium river ships. This is not a mid-range product. The pricing competes with the finest boutique ocean cruise lines. Small fleet, exceptional standards. Based on every guest who took the time to write a review, the experience backs up the price. The caveat, 21 reviews is a small sample. If Riverside holds this average as their review volume grows, this is a name that deserves far more attention than it currently gets. Right now, based on the limited data available, it's the highest scoring river cruise experience in Europe. So, here's the full data picture. 3 takeaways before we close. 1, the ship matters more than the brand. 2, price is not a guarantee of satisfaction. Paying more does not automatically mean you'll have a better time. 3, consistency is rarer than peak performance. Avalon doesn't have a single weak ship across 15 vessels. Viking's 75 ships operate within a remarkably tight range. That kind of predictability is genuinely valuable when you're spending thousands on a holiday and you don't want to gamble on which ship you get. The spreadsheet is linked below. 16 cruise lines, over 100 individual ships, every score, every ranking. Before you book anything, spend 5 minutes with that data. It could save you from a very expensive mistake.
If you've sailed any of these lines, drop your experience below. Does our data match what you experienced? And if this was useful, subscribe. We cover river cruises and travel planning in detail so you can travel smarter. Thanks for watching.